We are awakening together. This is our weekly gathering we hold online. For more information, visit our website, awakening-together.org. We'd love to see you there.
Everybody, nice to see everybody this morning. Let me get acclimated myself. All right. So we are here for our Sunday gathering. Welcome everybody who's in the room and who might be listening on the radio or even listening later on. Awesome. All right, welcome everybody. All right, now I'm going to share with you Awakening Together's statement of purpose. We are an assembly of equals, joined in common purpose, awakening to one true self. It's within an appearance of many faiths, many cultures, and many symbols. We seek to discern one truth and to rest in its embrace. And then we like to pick a core value that we think kind of is highlighted by our message for the gathering. And I did pick number 3. No, number 5. Maybe all of them, but I'm only going to read one of them. We accept all forms as temporary appearances permitted through enduring awareness of self. We live this value by honoring all appearances and all experiences while continually reflecting on changeless truth. And then also a bit of 3. We accept one true self, which is one presence or being. It's non-dual, without beginning or end, and absolutely changeless. We live this value by practicing letting go of the belief in the individual self as who we are. We're going to play an opening song, and it's going to be a kind of an energetic one. I need a little energy. It's harder doing a homily in mountain time. It's 8 o'clock here and I was up really late. And so things are a little fuzzy. And Michelle's probably even an hour earlier than I am. So I appreciate you being here for being my reader. It's football season, and so we went to the game last night, and our start times for a football game are like 7:45 my time, and that's the start. And so we have to get down there, and then getting home is quite a challenge. So it's kind of why I always do a little prep before, usually on Saturday, and I get all my things lined up, right? I get my statement of purpose lined up. I get my announcements lined up. I get all of it because Rhoda keeps us very, very organized around here. We're so grateful for it. And so I think, it's easy peasy. It's all right there. And then you add a little fatigue, and then you add the adrenaline that I have this great relationship with. And all of a sudden, everything is just like gone. So that's where we're at right now. So we're going to play this great song. It's Let the Music Get Down in Your Soul. And my title for the homily today was Welcoming the Light. And I'll tell you what, this song, for me anyway, it welcomes something. So it'll get your motor running, and it'll get me awake. So, all righty. I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray. That's next on my list. Okay. That's what we're going to do. Oh, I think I will use my favorite prayer from Way of Mastery. It really helps get me centered. So we close our eyes and rest in this moment. We might be open to what there is for us here. May Christ alone dwell within and as this creation I previously thought of as myself. May Christ alone inform each thought, each choice, and each step. May love direct my course. Amen. All right. Going to invite Michelle to do our reading for us. It is from NTI, and it will be John chapters 7 and 8. Thank you, Michelle, for being my reader today.
Thank you for me back in here. Yeah, this is beautiful. I needed to hear this, so thank you, Kelly. The guidance of the light is known from within. One must learn to trust himself to know his guidance, and one must learn to trust his brother, trust himself. The one cannot trust and distrust his brother. To trust oneself and distrust one's brother is not to trust fully. And not to trust fully is not to trust at all. Do not tell your brother what he should do. Let him know for himself what he should do. And let him do it. In this way, you demonstrate for yourself that the light can be trusted, and you open within yourself the opportunity to know and trust the light. To trust the guidance from within is to listen with openness and without judgment. When you judge the guidance that you hear, you demonstrate an unwillingness to listen. This unwillingness comes from fear, for you fear that to trust guidance without judging is to lose all sense of yourself and of your world. In this, you are not incorrect. It is only the fear that misleads you. For to lose the sense of yourself as you see yourself now, and to lose your sense of the world as you see the world now, is to lose your sense of what is false, and to gain the realization of what is true. If you hold on to your fear out of sense of self-protection, you hold on to your unwillingness to embrace the light. You must embrace the light to share it. You must be the light for the light to shine through you. Confusion comes from a mind that tries to think. This mind tries to reason and make sense of what cannot make sense. But this craves sense over chaos, because sense gives this mind a sense of order. And where there is order, there can be control. And where there is control, one can find identity. It is the heart that knows identity. The heart is beyond reason, because the heart is willing to accept what the mind cannot accept. Follow the light that shines within the heart and ask the mind to rest its questions and seek not for answers. The heart will lead you to the identity you seek. And now for John chapter 8. The mind has made laws, and it asks you to follow them. These laws give you identity because these laws tell you who you are in relation to them. But who you are without the laws of man. But who are you without the laws of man? If the laws were different, would you be different because of a different relationship to them? Can you truly be defined by laws or by a relationship to the law? And if you are not defined by your relationship to the law, why do you hold on to it so fiercely? This is you. What is it you believe you are holding on to? One is who he is. Only he does not know it if he insists on being defined according to the laws of the world. The light is the truth of everything, and the light is not bound by the world, because the light is not of the world. The light is beyond the world. You must lift your sight beyond the world to know the light. As long as you welcome the laws of the world as the basis of your identity, you deny that your truth is not of the world. To deny that your truth is not of the world is not to accept and welcome the light. You place a limit on what you would accept, what you will accept. And so the unlimited cannot be accepted. If limits are what you choose, limits are what you receive. You are given that for which you ask. Does that not tell you that you must be beyond limits? In the light, there is freedom, because the light is freedom. Without the acceptance of the light, you cannot know freedom. You may believe you are free, but you are deceived. You are not free because you cannot see clearly. You are a slave to that which you see and a slave to that which you experience. You see and experience what you ask to see and experience. This can never not be true. You are not the victim of your world. Your world, as you experience it, is a world of your design. Your mind is like a trap in that it limits you based on the beliefs you hold on to. Whatever you believe, you experience, and whatever you refuse to believe, you do not allow into your experience. In this way, your mind is the filter of all that you experience. The light is, and the light always has been. Before man, there was the light. Before belief, there was the light. Within eternity, there is the light. The light is. But if your mind will not accept it and welcome it, that which is does not seem is within your experience. Your experience that which you ask. You experience that which you ask. Does that not tell you that you are beyond your experience?
Appreciate it. Beautiful. I am doing 500 days. I think I have shared that in here before, and I think it's probably going to take me 1,000 days to do it. Some days I repeat over and over, and John is like that for me. This particular section that I'm in, I reread one of my practices early on in this section. I'm not sure what day it was, but it was just the exercise or the practice during the day was just to ask, what is the light? What is it? And to, sit with that. And the beautiful part of the practices in 500 days is that there's often this little guidance that it doesn't matter if nothing comes to you right away when you ask the question. The practice is the asking of the question. And for me, what happened in that process, there was a couple chapters that talked about welcoming the light. And it just became pretty evident to me that part of the purification that we go through here is to find out where we block the light, right? So in the initial days of asking the question, what is light? I became much more aware of what was getting in the way of it. Because I can have an intellectual idea of truth. I have intellectual ideas of what the light is, who I am in truth, not this person. And I can have some intellectual understanding around that. But my day-to-day experience, I find that my attention lands on things other than light. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity to have Awakening Together, where I can come and I have readings and I have guidance and I have practices and I have journaling and I have the wisdom that is found here. And it helps me remove the blocks to light so I can experience it. And I have, it is another one of the things that I was to look at was to ask what my current relationship to light is, what my current relationship is in my day-to-day. And it talked about not having any understanding of light. And then it talked about having an inconsistent relationship with light. And I went, oh, that's where I rest, right? I have days where I am just feeling the sense of freedom and being in the flow and a clearer sense of who I am in truth and loving and not stressing about the day's events. And on those days, I usually just say, thank you for this. But then I have these other days where I wake up to the day and it's as if I never read a spiritual passage in my entire life, where the thoughts are filled with the identity of Kelly and all that entails. So a while ago, and I really appreciated the announcement for the releasing the I Am Bad belief retreat. The combination of I've done the releasing I Am Bad and then the letting go of the judge retreat that I did this year. The combination of those retreats have been a turning point for me in in clarifying what I really want. And they have helped me clarify what I desire above all else. And they have helped me realize that without the practice, without the practice, all the reading and studying and listening that I can do is to of no avail. That there has to be a consistent effort and there has to be a practice involved. And then along those lines also came MPP and facilitating some of those courses. And most recently, that has been the introduction to Buddhism. And facilitating that has also anchored myself in this idea of practice and recognizing that I've intellectually understood or read and listened to a lot. But there is nothing like the actual practice that makes the difference in what we perceive and what we want to carry with ourselves. So that was my initial guidance to the homily in practices to welcome the light. That was more of what I was after than anything else was, how can I live my life in a way that increases the access to the light? Because the light is always there, right? I mean, that is what we're here to understand. The light is constant. The light is never changing. The light is available. It is the blocks to the light that keep us from the experience of the light. So I was sitting down with my journal the other day, and what came through was this idea of practices that Kelly could use to help increase her welcoming of the light. So that is what I am going to share now. So just the idea of welcoming, right? So the idea of welcoming is to willingly and lovingly allow something in, which means that we willingly and lovingly look at what is blocking it and deal with that as well. So we come to this place of wanting to willingly and lovingly allow the light through our desire for the light. And we talk often around here about spiritual aspiration and having to revisit that at times when maybe our practice is stale or our practice gets kind of rote when we're going through the motions. So having some time to sit back with what do we want? Why are we here? Why do we continue to log in to Awakening Together? Why do we continue to stay with 500 days or take a class or show up to the sanctuary for anything? There is that desire, and I can be in touch with that even when the crazies are hitting, and know that what I truly want in my experience is to know who I am. And what I truly want is to be able to dissolve these artificial boundaries that I place between me and the people in my life that seem to guide a lot of my decisions, which lead me down rabbit holes that I do not desire to go. So being in touch with my desire for the light, my desire for life, my desire for truth. And then I was given these, I'm getting a visitor here with my dog. I was given these 5 practices to encourage the welcoming of the light. And so some of these practices kind of also, they have the NTI John theme within it, and then they also carry a pretty good flavor of my experiences with the intro to Buddhism that I am currently helping to facilitate, that I am more of a student to than anything else. So 5 practices to encourage welcoming. So the first practice is welcoming the day. Welcoming the Dharma of the day that you are in. I was kind of guided to rest in the start of my day and recognize that I'm welcoming all that it holds. And that seemed to be an important piece of it, that I welcome all of it, not my ideas of what it should contain, not my ideas of what's coming down the pike, not what my mind is telling me it holds. There's a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh that says, in The Heart of the Buddha, waking up this morning, I smile. 24 brand new hours are before me. I vow to live fully in each moment and to look at all beings with the eyes of love. So my first practice is to welcome the day. And I am to, there is another section, aspiring to aimlessness for the day, which is a pretty neat passage as well that I'm going to share. And this was from the third door of liberation from Buddhism, which is aimlessness. And Thich Nhat Hanh writes, these 24 hours are a precious gift, a gift we can only receive fully when we have opened the third door of liberation, which is aimlessness. If we think we have 24 hours to achieve a certain purpose, today will become a means to attain an end. The moment of chopping and carrying water is the moment of happiness. We do not need to wait for these chores to be done in order to be happy. To have happiness in this moment is the spirit of aimlessness. Otherwise, we will run in circles for the rest of our lives. We have everything we need to make the present moment the happiest in our life. Even if we have a cold or a headache, we don't have to wait until we get over our cold to be happy. Having a cold is a part of life. So whatever shows up during the course of our day, we are to welcome it. The next practice that I am to use is welcoming, willingly and lovingly allow the opportunity to care for self. So, and that included some insights from the middle way as well. I have this tendency to, in spiritual circles and in spiritual teachings, to, in an effort to transcend the body, we and I have made the mistake to deny the body and its existence, which is not the same thing. Transcending it and denying it is not the same thing. And so there's this idea in the middle way that, and it's a paradox really, to care for, to tend to the things that the body needs, to feed it nutritionally, to give it rest, to listen to what it might need, maybe from a practitioner or from a doctor, to give it its due and its time, actually takes the importance off of the body. And this has been an interesting experience for me because I, have had times in my life where I am so preoccupied with the body and its cravings, not necessarily what it needs, but its cravings, which are different as well. And so this idea of tuning in, spending some time, caring for it, is actually a way to leave it for the rest of the day. And so my guidance has been to check in with it early on, have a semi-plan, not something rigid, but have a semi-plan on how to care for it. So it's not hollering at me all day. And so it's not demanding time and attention from me. And that seems to, over the last couple of weeks, seems to have been very helpful in me to not be preoccupied with it. So I was grateful for that. So gently provide what is needed for the body. Paradoxically, it allows freedom from its incessant craving. And just on that note, lack of sleep is one of the things that it is guiding me away from. And this is why, because we're having a little brain trouble right now. So the next practice to encourage welcoming of the light was to welcome any opportunity to feel negative emotions. I think a little bit of Michael's meditation today talked a little bit about that it's all part of, right? It's all part of the journey that we're on. And just like we can't deny the body, it does not make much sense to deny or repress the negative emotions as well. And oftentimes an intellectual understanding of a teaching, if that's all that we have, will kind of move us in the direction of repression. So the guidance is welcome the opportunity to feel any negative emotions. Purification is a process of light. So by being willing to feel those, by being willing to give them up to the light, the Holy Spirit, whatever we want to call that, naturally invites the light. And that's kind of counterintuitive, right? We have negative emotions. We're in kind of a tailspin if we're feeling effects of the I am bad belief, if we're grousing about something, if we're in, feeling resentment about something. It seems to be counterintuitive that that's going to be the way to the light. And I think that that's why I have a tendency to try and deny that I'm experiencing those things. And we deny it in many ways, right? Getting busy, getting lost, whatever. Food, addictions, all that stuff is geared to try and keep that stuff at bay. And the reality is we need it. It invites the light in order to transcend it. So purification is a process of light, so it naturally invites it. Then the next practice is, this one was interesting and I was not real pleased with it. It says, welcome the opportunity to be wrong and apologize. Just allow yourself to be wrong. There is 1,000 times during the day, if I'm paying attention, that I'm wrong, that I perceive something wrong. And I think that I am right, but I am not. And the more I fight to prove myself right, the more pain I'm in. It invites all that judgment. So welcome the opportunity to be wrong and apologize. Light shines through the transparency of humility. And so if we can allow ourselves, perceptions vary so much, and it's just a point of view. It's a little knothole. I mean, Kelly's point of view is so small, and the ego thinks it has the entire picture. And so it speaks from a place where it believes it has the entire picture, and it has a pinhole of it. And it can be humiliating at times to have that pointed out. But if we can just swallow the humble pie and go, okay, so now I understand that I was coming from a place of thinking I had the whole picture instead of just this little knothole, then that invites the light instead of keeping it from us. And then the fifth one is to welcome the opportunity to serve. When we give, when we truly serve with no attachment or need for recognition, the ego rests in those moments. When the ego rests, light surrounds the giver and the receiver alike. One of the things that helped me with this this practice is from the Heart of the Buddha by Thich Nhat Hanh, and it is in the 5 paramitas. The 5 paramitas. Which is Dana Paramita, which is giving and offering, and generosity, which is a movement beyond the ego limits, right? In order to give truly, right, without any attachment. The attachments that my ego takes when it comes to giving, right, is appearing giving. That's the first one that has to be overcome, right? I want to appear to be giving and generous and all of those other labels. And so to truly give beyond that ego limit, one of the things that I have to practice is that give and be generous and not get caught, right? Be kind and not get caught. Do something from a place of anonymity, which can be very helpful. So one of the definitions from Thich Nhat Hanh is to give means, first of all, to offer joy, happiness, and love. Then goes on to say the greatest gift we can offer anyone is our true presence. So that's the first gift that we can give, is just being with somebody, just being the presence of whatever is called for. Love, compassion, just an ear. Really, just listening to people is an incredible, incredible gift. And we all can do that, right? I mean, it's not like this is stuff that is not at our disposal. It is that for me, my chattery mind gets in the way. So we can offer our true presence as a gift we give. Our stability is a gift that we can give to people Freedom, I think, is one of the most beautiful gifts we give to each other, is not to put them in a box on how they need to be in our lives for us to love them, right? All those conditions that we have a tendency to place on people. I wouldn't do this if you didn't do that. I wouldn't behave the way I did if you didn't behave the way you do, or you didn't say what you said. I wouldn't have reacted the way I had. All those kinds of things. Love is freedom. Love is allowing it all to be exactly as it is, without a word from me. Does not have to be a word at all. And they can be however they need to be. We can give our freshness, allowing each moment to pass instead of hanging on and clinging to moments. We can offer our peace. We offer space. Those are all the gifts that we can bring and give of ourselves in service to all. So to recap on my little list: welcoming the light, willingly and lovingly allow the light, watch for your defenses against the light, rest with them, do not judge yourself for them, but allow them to be transformed. The light loves you. The light loves all. The light is you. You do not need to fight for the light. The light is given. So 5 practices. Welcome the Dharma of the day. Welcome the opportunity to care for yourself. Welcome the opportunity to feel negative emotions and purify. Welcome the opportunity to be wrong and to experience the transparency of humility. Welcome the opportunity to serve in all ways. When we give, when we truly serve with no attachment, light surrounds the giver and the receiver alike. Okay, I think that's all I have. As disjointed as that felt, I appreciate you all. I love you all. And I think Sina is going to play our song. And it's a song that, it's a Rod Stewart song, and I don't know how it got on my playlist, but I know that when it showed up, it really, really opened my heart. And there's something about his voice, his crooning voice, right? When he does those ballads, it's just sweet. So anyway, it brought tears to my eyes. So that's why I bring it to you. So, because it touched me. I love you. And Sina's going to play. It's called This, just This. That's what it's called. Now, if anybody, it's an invitation. If anybody has anything that they would like to share, we can do that. Thank you for the sweet messages, y'all. Jacqueline.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Kelly.
Hey.
I just want to thank you for your message this morning. You're just such a testament to what can happen when you just make practical application of what we learn. And, you know, I've had that same experience. You're like, why am I not seeing any results? Why are there no and at some point you go, oh, because I'm not actually practicing what I'm learning. And it's just a game changer, you know, however you take that on. If you take it on one item on your list at a time, whatever it is, the practical application just makes all the difference. And so I appreciate being reminded of that. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Appreciate that. Righty. I think we will just play our closing song. I want to invite everybody to, oh, Rhoda.
Couldn't resist. I had made a request during meditation this morning about keeping attention on gratitude. And what I heard in your homily was just the most beautiful transmission of what I was trying to put attention on today. And that is the gratitude for what is. This loving, for a long time, my spiritual aspiration has been some form of let it be, and has morphed into loving everything exactly as it is right now. And it's a lovely aspiration and can be so challenging in application. But there's just this subtle shift that I feel every day. The practices you were pointing to from the paramitas about welcoming the day have been so, so helpful. And just, I noticed there were two things I had to write down for myself. I wrote it in the chat and I wrote it down in my own journal because it just feels so true. For me, gratitude is just lovingly welcoming, just lovingly welcoming. And the way you were speaking about welcoming was just so very helpful. It's just take my willingness, add the loving acceptance and allowance of what is, and that is welcoming. And it doesn't matter what I'm welcoming, as long as I'm not turning away from it.
Yeah.
And so thank you for making this very, what felt like personal message for this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhoda. Appreciate that. Yeah, welcome. I welcome that. Thank you. Peter. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Peter.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Yeah. No, you spoke about the light this morning, and just what come up, and I also wrote it in the chat. Light is an awareness of the beauty that we are. And I just want to say that to you. I mean, and to all actually, it is an awareness. It is, if we speak about practice, then I feel it is actually a practice of accepting the truth of ourselves. God is saying that we are love. And therefore, I love always that word therefore, and therefore we are, I am. So I just want to share with you that the reason that we are beautiful is that God has created us that way, and we cannot change that. It's impossible to change that. So the light is that we become aware of that beauty we are. Thank you that I can share that, and I bless you.
Thank you. Bless you too. Awesome. Right. I think we'll hit our closing song. Thank you all for your comments. Thanks for being here. Michelle, thank you so much for getting up and reading for me. I believe I am going to have to go and take a nap. I just am so rummy. I cannot rub two cells together. So I love you guys. Thank you so much. And I will see you later on today. I will be back in the room later on today. Thanks again.
This was our weekly gathering that we hold online. For more information, you can visit our website at awakening-together.org, or you can subscribe to our Awakening Together channel and click the bell for more notifications when we post our weekly gatherings. Thank you again for watching.